morning, guys, we're going to discuss two things here. We're going to briefly go over door hangers. We're going to touch on the 3 feet rule, and then we are going to do a review of all the different marketing campaigns that we have discussed over the past month and a half. So let's look at the door hangers, guys. Right here, if you see my screen, this is the Senior Life Agent Store where you go to order supplies through Senior Life. Okay, and also, if you're thinking, well, now how do I get there? This. How do I get to that agent store? Well, you're on the website, Advisor Resources, and you click on the Advisor Login button. Applications and websites, if you click on that, there you go. There are all the different websites, the online rate calculators, there are rate calculator apps through the different carriers that we're partnered with. And up here, you'll see Senior Life Agent Portal. There's the link for that. Senior Life Agent Resources. There's the link for that. Senior Life Supplies. Oh, there you go. Click on that, and this is where you have to log in to the agent store. Once you log in, this is the home page. So those door hangers are found in the Legacy Assurance tab. There are the folders that I encourage every one of you guys to order. Anytime that you sell a Senior Life product, Senior and Legacy, which is really more of a package deal, this is the folder that I'm going to leave all my leave behind documents in. So it's like $5.99 for, let's see, I think it comes in a brick of 10. Yeah, one bundle is 10. So basically $6 for 10 folders. The cost is nominal. You have your bifold brochures. Those are free. You always want to max out that order. You should always have a good supply of these brochures on hand. For any of those who are bilingual, there's the Spanish. You've got the Spanish version door hanger, the front and the back, and then there's the English version. So here on the Spanish side, I don't know why they've got the front and the back displayed, whereas over here you only display the front. But let's go ahead and take a look at this door hanger. There's what it looks like. Down at the bottom of the door hanger, what you can't see is the contact information. The agent name, it's got the, the agent name, it's got the contact number. I think it's also got the email address. So when you got things like this, hold on, wait. There's the flyer that in the the second web conference call that we had, we did cover flyers towards the tail end of that call. And unfortunately at that time, I had realized that I had the old version, the old flyer displayed on Advisor Resources. I made a promise to everybody that I would get that updated to where Senior Life would be removed. So that way we're not limiting ourselves to just one specific carrier. And that's exactly what we did here. So it's very generic in terms of FWA offers whole life insurance policies underwritten and issued through a variety of state-regulated life insurance companies designed to help cover funerals and other final expenses. These policies are accepted by funeral directors everywhere. Our policies provide the following benefits, yada, 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 and it lists all the features and benefits of a typical non-participating whole life insurance policy. Prior to that, it used to say underwritten and issued through Senior Life Insurance Company, and we had the Senior Life logo right here, but we have since updated that, removed that to where, again, we're not limiting ourselves to just one specific carrier. Now, Legacy, we did update the logo here, and Legacy is Legacy. So anytime that there's a planning need or concern, it's going to be through Legacy. We don't partner with multiple different planning companies that are out there. Nobody does. Nobody offers what Legacy does. So we keep that the same because that is who the family support services are administered through. Again, if you're down in Oklahoma, so all the Oklahoma advisors, Willie and Sam and the others that are out down there, you might want to reconsider using this flyer because funeral merchandise is not available in the state of Oklahoma. So if you decide to use this piece, then you'll definitely want to either update it and remove that, or update it and have the disclaimer show that merchandise is also not available in the state of Oklahoma. And I might just go ahead and update that sometime here soon, so you guys have that for your records. But at any rate, at the very bottom, you've got the contact information: agent, name, telephone number, email address, just like you do here at the bottom of the door hangers. So Vistaprint and several of the vendors in Office Max, Office Depot, Staples, guys, you can order a stamp for just a few bucks. So instead of having to handwrite your name and your email address and your phone number 10,000 times on a week-to-week basis, just, order a stamp for just a few dollars. A couple of days later, it'll come in the mail, and you can stamp the bottom of each of those flyers, stamp the bottom of each of these door hangers. There you have it. There you are. It also looks more professional. It's more legible, etc. So these door hangers are great to use when you're canvassing neighborhoods doing open enrollment. Personally, I think these door hangers are slick. The door hangers only promote legacy assurance. It is not insurance. It doesn't mention anything about insurance or the funding. It is strictly about the planning and the tangibles. So you see that here it says that legacy assurance, we guarantee that we will save you money. That's right. Once you become a member, the cost for your casket is locked in forever. For information on the products or to become a member, refer to the backside of this card. Guys, these are slick. Now, when you're canvassing neighborhoods and you're hanging these door hangers on the houses where people are not at home, because if you're going to do this, you should have a follow-up list in your hands. So for those who are thinking, well, what's a follow-up list? Well, again, guys, a follow-up list, follow-up leads is a set. They come in a set of 1,000 names. These are people who fit our age and income demographics. You've got the prospect's last name. You got their first name. Half of them do have phone numbers. Just I need to throw it out there that if you ever decide to do any cold calling using those lists, you've got to scrub those against the do not call list. These are not leads where people have actually inquired about our products and services. They didn't actually respond to any form of advertisement. So you basically are cold calling those people. It's just a warm cold call kind of a list or approach. So scrub those against the DNC list so that you're not calling somebody who is on that list and then you receive a nice hefty fine. So half of them do have phone numbers. You're going to have their address, and it's going to be filtered in alphabetical order. So if you're in zip code 63118, that is the zip code that you requested your list to be in. 24 hours later, you receive your list. When I email that list, I have already filtered the list for you. So when you're out there in zip code 63118 and you're canvassing starting on Montgomery Avenue, well, you pull up your list and you go to the M's, Montgomery, there it is, Montgomery Avenue, 1218 Montgomery Avenue, 1220 Montgomery Avenue, 1223 Montgomery Avenue, 1224 Montgomery Avenue, 1235 Montgomery Avenue. In other words, you're only hitting the houses that matter. You have their name, you have their address, and you even have their age. You even know how old that person is behind that door that you are about to approach over the phone or approach by door knock. And, of course, we got scripts for all these things, too, guys. Van Wilson, there's a WCC recording on the conference call section of the advisor resources where Mr. Van Wilson was a guest speaker. For about an hour, he donated his time and sharing with us, how he approaches going door to door, and that's what he's done for the past 3 years. So you use his approach, you can use the different approaches, the different scripts that we have. It's just all about activity. But when somebody is not home, when you're hitting those houses that do matter, people who fit our age and income demographic, and you got a name behind the door, And the house next door, 1219, well, it's not on the list. Well, that's probably because they don't fit either A, our income demographic, which that's probably not it if you're in a certain neighborhood, or B, they didn't fit our age. So you skip 1219, as that's a family of a 32-year-old and a 35-year-old with a 1 and a 3-year-old that live there. That's not our demographic, guys. So you go on to the ones that are on the list. And when you're knocking on doors and people are not at home, what do? Leave a door hanger. That is leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. Now, what's the return on this? So if you put 100 door hangers out, what kind of a response can you expect to yield from that? How many inquiries can you expect to make from 100 door hangers left on a door? Probably 1 to 2%. So the numbers aren't going to be 10%, 15%, 20%. It's going to be about the same as direct mails. Direct mails, the industry average is around 1 to maybe about 1.5% return. So when we send out mailers in bricks of 1,000, we're hoping to get around 10 to 15, generate 10 to 15 leads from that drop of 1,000 mailers. Door hangers are about the same. Now you could, and just an idea, just a thought, just a suggestion, I'm not saying that I've done this, is you could take this door hanger and staple it to this flyer here, because this has got a lot more information. This ties in the insurance piece to it, where people see a cash insurance benefit, to where there's insurance policies underwritten and issued by a variety of different insurance companies. Hold on just a second here, guys. All righty. So maybe somebody doesn't have a plain need or concern, but they do have an insurance need or concern. That'll catch their attention. If they've got plenty of insurance, but they've been thinking about going down to the funeral home and prearranging everything and start making payments to the funeral director, this will catch their attention, in addition to the door hanger. Let me pause here, guys. Thoughts, comments, suggestions, feedback?
So, Rusty, these names lists, is there a cost on those, or how do we go about doing it?
Steve and I will absorb the cost on that.
Okay.
There is a cost, but we do not pass it down to you guys.
Okay.
So that is a benefit, a perk of being an advisor through us, is that you have access to the guys. Let me tell you something. There are a ton of data companies out there that will sell you this kind of data. It's not as qualified, it's not as filtered, and they will charge anywhere from around $150 to around $300 to $400 for a list of 1,000 names. You guys have access to those lists at no cost. And earlier this year, for those who might remember this, who were around at that time, in one of the social media groups that I'm a part of, a final expense group, the administrator of this particular group came across a vendor that was selling, they call them follow-up leads, which basically, once I dug into it and did a little research, what I found is that they were selling these quote-unquote leads for a cost of like, what was it, $3 a lead? Actually, I think it was a little bit more than that. Steve, do you recall? Do you recall the vendor that I'm mentioning here? And
I do. I can't think of his name, but I think he was selling them for about $4 a piece.
Yeah, I want to say it was more than $3, guys. Yeah, it skips me at this moment. I do a little dig, and I can recover, who that vendor is and exactly how much they were charging for those leads. But guys, all it was just data. So it's the same premise. Those leads, those follow-up leads, were leads where these people have received a mailer here recently. They just never responded. And agents were just going crazy over this new vendor and this kind of a lead. And they were purchasing like 100 of these leads. It was a brick of 100 leads. That's $300. Yeah, that's what it was, Steve. It was $3 a lead. Minimum order was 100 leads. So that's $300 for a list of 100 names. They weren't actual leads, and so what Sean was his first name, what he was doing is he was taking that list, he'd scrub it against the DNC, and then he would call them, and he created his own little pitch, if you will, and he was really setting some appointments, and then the ones he couldn't get a hold of on the phone or he couldn't schedule an appointment with, he just went out there and saw them in person. And, you know, our script, our approach is pretty much the same, but it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And this guy was writing some pretty good amount of business off of nothing more than the same data that every one of you guys on the line have access to this morning. But instead of 100, you have access to 1,000 names at once at zero cost to you. Zero. Guys, these are people who have received our mailers at one point in time. They did, or else we wouldn't have their information. And when you're out there canvassing neighborhoods, doing neighborhood enrollments, and you knock on a door, nobody is at home, it's all about activity, guys. Here's your door hanger. These door hangers, let's see here. Let's go back to the agent store. Door hangers are a whopping $1.59 for a package of 10 of those door hangers. So you order 100 of those, that's $15, guys. $15. That's not even half the, well, I guess that is. That's half the cost of one direct mail lead. And now you have 100 of these door hangers. Me, in my opinion, what I would do, if I was out there, you know, doing neighborhood enrollments on a Friday or a Saturday, just trying to generate activity, my week is done or it's about to begin, I got some downtime, I'm waiting on leads to come in, I'm in between appointments, whatever, I don't know. I would take that door hanger and I would definitely staple it to this here flyer. Now I would have each and every one of these things stamped at the bottom. Of course, if any of you guys are proficient with Adobe Acrobat, you can just take this, edit it, and you can type in your personal information here and then save it. And there you go. Eliminates the need from having to go out there and order a $10 stamp, whatever. But guys, you're gonna generate some activity from it. At the end of the day, you know, when you're doing the activity, and it involves this business, whether it's the 3 feet rule, whether it's going out there trying to set up group seminars, whether it's placing the custom yard sale signs that you had ordered last week in certain sections of the city that you're in, whatever, guys, you're going to get a lot of interest. You're going to receive a lot of inquiries, leads. You're going to see more people. You're going to run more appointments. You're going to protect more families, and you're going to make more money. At the end of the day, that is the bottom line. 3 feet rule. Steve, you said it perfectly. What is the 3 feet rule?
Making it known to anyone within 3 feet of you what you do and how you can help.
If somebody comes within your 3 feet, in your bubble, within 3 feet of your bubble, you should never keep yourself a secret. And Steve, also, what is an elevator pitch?
Sorry, what was that?
What is an elevator pitch?
Elevator pitch is a 30-second speech or description of what you do, and everyone should have one and memorize it and be able to spout it off at the moment's notice.
That's exactly correct, guys.
It's the amount of time that it takes to travel, the average length of time that it takes to travel up an elevator. Shouldn't be more than 30 to 45 seconds.
That is exactly correct. Guys, if you are in an elevator, you walk in an elevator, and there's a group of around 3, 4, or 5 people, more than one, then you have on average a 30-second window to introduce yourself and give them a 30-second commercial of who you are and what it is that you do. You want to capture their attention to where by the time that elevator door opens back up, these people want to speak with you at a later time. That's an elevator pitch right there, guys. I can't write your elevator pitch. That's something that should come from the heart. Now, that's something that, and it's not something that you're going to create in a matter of 10 minutes, and then that's it. You're going to be using that. It's something that you're going to refine and fine tune, and in order to make it your own. But that's what a 30-second elevator pitch really is. And we should all have one. You should have one created really within the first couple of days and when you partner with us, because at the end of the day, when you get started, guys, that's what you should do. You should be just an absolute billboard and constantly just in people's ear about who you are and what it is that you do. You should never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, ever keep yourself a secret. So here's my elevator pitch, guys. And I should have this typed up, but I do not. Well, I do. I just don't have it typed up to where you guys can see it on the screen. So I walk in an elevator, and there's a couple ladies sitting there, standing there. And, hi, ladies, how are you? Good morning. Beautiful day outside. Cold, isn't it? Yes, ma'am. So, yeah, well, my name's Rusty. What's your name? Mary. I'm Mary. Nice to meet you. And what's your name? Miss Barbara. Wonderful. How are you ladies doing? Excellent. Hey, Mary, Barbara, listen, if you ladies got a chance, there's a possibility you might be able to help me out, or someone you know, possibly even yourselves. Ladies, I'm a Final Wishes advisor, and I help families with their Final Wishes planning. I can help any age or situation, but I specialize in serving veterans and families who are on fixed or limited incomes. Ladies, it doesn't matter if it's a funding or planning need, or even if there's been hiccups with the person's health, I can help. So basically, small affordable life insurance or burial insurance, funeral cremation planning, that's what I do. I have programs designed to help those types of families that are praying to try and find. So if you or someone you know has one of those concerns and needs, please don't keep me a secret. Here's my card. So that was done in 30 seconds. Now, Mary, let me ask you, Barbara, do you ladies currently have any coverage on you? If they say no, that's it, game over. Well, no, not at this moment. Well, that's a layup right there. If they say no, they don't have any coverage, oh my gosh, goodness gracious. Well, maybe it's divine intervention while I stepped on the elevator at the same time that you ladies were here. Listen, let me go ahead and let me get your contact information, and I'll reach out to you and see what we can work out as far as the time. We'll get together and see what I can do to help you out, see what I can do to improve your situation. Now, the majority of the time, people are going to say, oh, yes. Oh, yeah, I got life insurance. Oh, yeah, I got all that taken care of. So if they say yes, I say, awesome. I was hoping so. Good. And you ladies like saving money too, right? and I say it with a smile, guys, as if you can't see the smile coming through your phone right now. Awesome. Great. I was hoping so. Good. And you ladies like saving money too, right? Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Perfect. Well, Mary, Barbara, what's a good contact number for you ladies? And what we'll do is we'll work out a time where we can get together and see what I can do to improve your situation. What is our mission statement? Somebody. What is the FWA mission statement?
Leave people better off than when you found them.
Leaving people in a better position than how we found them. Isn't that pretty much what I just said there? Well, perfect. Mary, Barbara, what's a good contact number for you ladies? And what we'll do is we'll work at a time where we can get together and see what I can do to improve your situations. So the fact that they said, yes, I already have coverage. Yes, I already have that taken care of. I'm going to respond the same way as if I was running an appointment where if that's just life insurance, I already got that. Great. Beautiful. Wonderful. And I was kind of hoping so. And ladies, you like saving money too, right? Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Perfect. And I just go right into the close. Now, understand, guys, that when you're practicing the 3 feet rule, exercising your elevator pitch, you want to go ahead. It's like nothing different in this business, and you want to try to schedule an appointment right there on the spot. Right, Steve? So I want to get their contact information right then and there, but as soon as I got their contact information, I want to go ahead and try to schedule an appointment while I'm right there in front of them instead of trying to get them on the phone at a later time. I mean, it just makes sense. It's good time management. So after, well, yeah, I guess that's fine. Okay, well, my number is 636 636-399-2964. Okay, 636-399-2964. Beautiful, beautiful. And Mary, what is generally the best day of the week or the best time of the day to catch you for about 10, 15 minutes? Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Does that matter to you? Oh, no, I'm usually at home. Are you a morning person or an afternoon person? And they're thinking I'm going to call them, right? Oh, probably mornings is the best time. Great, great. Well, listen, I'm actually going to be out in Wentzville on Tuesday. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just go ahead and set up time between 9 and 10 Tuesday morning? And what is your address again, Mary? So, guys, it's at the end of the day, it's all about getting the appointment, getting your knees underneath the table, and the more people that you get in front of in their home, at the kitchen table, at the end of the day, the more business you're just going to write, because the system works. Whether they have insurance or they don't, more times than not, you're going to leave these people in a better position than how you found them. Now, if anybody starts to give any kind of resistance after they say, yeah, I've already got all that taken care of, and yes, I got life insurance, perfect, great, awesome, I was hoping so, good. And Mary, you like saving money too, right? Oh yeah, okay, that's kind of what I figured. Well, Mary, what's a good contact number for you? And what we'll do is we'll work out a time where we can get together and see what I can do to improve your situation. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'm really interested in all that. I think I'm good. I'm taken care of. Okay. Mary, do you feel like you have enough coverage or the right kind of plan in place that will ensure no immediate burden will be left on your family when you pass? So now I'm tapping into the touchy-feely. I'm starting to restir their emotions. People buy off of emotion. And any time that you can ask somebody a question that taps into their feelings and their emotions, it's going to make them think a little bit. Now, understand, guys, this approach is not going to work 100% of the time. It's kind of like whenever I was going door to door to door to door prospecting when I was selling individual health insurance plans back in 2007, primarily in 2008. we were basically, it was just the law of large numbers, and our approach was after we got in front of the gatekeeper, the person who made the decision. A lot of times it was the small business owner themselves. Introduce yourself and listen, I know you're busy. I just wanted to come in and see if you guys feel like you're paying too much for your health insurance. See if you guys feel like you're paying too much for your health insurance. And you're only looking for those that would respond, well, hell yeah, I feel like I'm paying too much. I'm paying $594.26 for just myself. And there ain't nothing wrong with me. I haven't been to a doctor forever. Yeah, heck yeah, I feel like I'm paying too much. Well, there you go. There's your lead. That's the person that you're looking for. So, when you're exercising the 3 feet rule and you've got that elevator pitch nailed down, guys, understand you're still not going to generate a lead off of 100% of the people that you make contact with. Some will, most won't, so what? Okay? So that last question, do you feel, Mary, okay, that's fine. Now, let me ask you, Mary, do you feel like you've got enough coverage or the right kind of plan in place that's going to ensure that no immediate burden of any kind is going to be left on your family when you pass? And, just shut up and listen. Oh, yeah, I just got that ticket. I'm not interested. Okay, move on. Well, that's fine. Listen, don't keep me a secret, Mary. Here's my card. Please take my card anyway. And, Mary, if you ever get in front of somebody, if you ever comes up in conversation, somebody's got a life insurance, a burial insurance, funding, need, concern, planning, if this ever comes up in conversation, just take my card, pass it on to them, and, just don't keep me a secret. I'd really appreciate it. And you're just constantly planting the seeds, guys, constantly planting the seeds. And, guys, through all this activity, your phone will ring. It will ring several times throughout the week through the variety of different marketing campaigns that you're currently doing.
Guys, and a lot of you are brand new to this business and haven't developed a very much of a client base yet. But as you progress through this career, you're going to find, and it's why it's important when we tell you to scan and keep record of all of your policies and everything that you write, because what'll happen as you grow, these things will grow. And over the time, I've got a couple thousand clients that I rely on for referrals. And I don't always get referrals the first time I see them. But after I've had them for a year, now they're comfortable with the product. They're comfortable with making the payments. They're comfortable with me. And so periodically what I'll do is call those clients and just tell them, hey, part of my regimen is what I brought you on as a client is I got to review this information with you. It takes 5 minutes. Why don't I swing by? I'm going to be in town next week. Why don't I swing by and see, and we'll just review your coverage. And oftentimes when you do that, you will find yourself writing another policy because, they bought $5,000 or $6,000 from you a few years. They've been making that $30 or $40 payment for a few years, and you know what? What's an extra 30 or 40 bucks? I think I've got it, and I want to add to my policy. Oh, by the way, I also have a cousin, or I have an aunt, or I have an uncle, or I have somebody that would be interested in this. So that's another opportunity to gather more names, and a lot of times write another policy on the client that you're reviewing. That was my comment.
That's a great comment. Man, really good advice there. Guys, even if you don't write another policy, here's the best thing that could come from following with your clients 6 months to a year down the road, and you get back in their home, you get back at that kitchen table a year later, you review their policy, they're content with what they have, they're content with the amount of coverage that they have, they don't increase their policy. Was it all for nothing? Oh, no. Absolutely not. I can almost guarantee you that because of that act of kindness, because of that extra time and attention that you just gave your client a year after you last saw them, do you think that policy will ever go anywhere? In other words, do you think that policy will ever lapse, or do you think that your client will ever want to replace that policy if they find something that's 50 cents cheaper or $5 cheaper? The answer is absolutely not. Absolutely not. That thing is as good as gold, and it's all about the persistency.
And it comes back to service and separating yourself from the other agent or the competing agents is because how many times I've been in a home and I talk to a client or a prospect and they've got coverage already. And I say, well, when did you buy that? Oh, I bought it 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever the case might be. Well, who'd you buy it from? I don't remember who I bought it from. I said, well, did you ever see the guy again? Nope, never saw him again. Well, now you've sold the product and you come back and see him again. And if you're following some of the instructions we've given you in the past is making that contact, 3 or 4 times the first month and then calling them back a year later, 6 months later, just to do a quick review. And guys, a lot of you have been doing this long enough that you've already had the probably at least 1 or 2 experiences when you get into a home, they've got coverage, but they tell you one thing and they've got another. It's because they don't remember. And so just that refresher of, hey, just to follow up, make sure, check and base with you, make sure everything looks okay. Just do a quick review. It takes me 5 minutes. And it really does only take 5 minutes. And you do those things while you're in that town. It's opportunities when you have activity that you need to generate activity, but maybe you've got 3 or 4 appointments that day and some of them are 2 or 3 hours apart. Well, that's an opportunity to take while you're back in that town to go do some reviews. And sometimes I'll just stop at a door, and because I'm in that town and I recognize the house, I'll just stop and introduce myself again. And hey, I was just down the street. I thought I'd take this opportunity, if you've got time, just to take a quick look at your policy, make sure everything looks okay, and just review any updates or any changes. And sometimes my language will say something like this: is there's been some recent changes to your insurance policy, and I want to talk to you a little bit about it and make sure that you're not going to be affected and make sure everything looks okay. Is that all right? And usually that gets their interest, and yeah, let's take a look at it.
And another thing, these are all excellent points, Steve. This approach that Steve's mentioning now is all the more reason why you can never take too many notes at the point of sale, and it's why it's imperative to always exercise good record keeping. As you got to be extremely well organized from day one, and you should always create the best paper trail you possibly can off of every policy that you sell, off of every family that you help. And this is why. So whenever you are out there in the field and you recognize that house, or you have some downtime on a particular day, and you decide to call on the policies that you sold back in February and back in January of this year or last year or whenever, you pull up those files, guys, and you look at the leads and you look at the notes and you refresh your memory, the exact details of that particular person, who they are, their situation, what the house looked like, the dog, the cat, the neighbor, the brother, the sister that was there, the sister that was in a wheelchair, yada, yada, yada. So whenever you go back and you see your existing book of business, when you see your clients, you can bring up things that you remember from a year ago, a year and a half ago, and what is that going to help do in your client's eyes, Steve, whenever you bring up, so how's Sparky doing? Oh, there's Sparky right there, and how's your sister been doing, Goldie? You know, hey, she
solidify the rapport.
Oh, man, I'm telling you guys, it means the world to these people that a year later you still remember their pets and their animals' names, their family situation, the fact that they're from Wisconsin, that they just moved to the area, 6 months ago, from the time that you last saw them to, so how have you been adjusting? You think it's been getting a little bit better since you moved down here to St. Louis? That's good. It means everything to them, that they're not just another person. It's not just another name that you saw that particular day, that you really are building relationships with these people, that you really do care, that they really do mean something to you. And ultimately what that's going to do is that's going to help increase your persistency. It's going to also generate more referrals, if not at the point of sale, or a year down the road, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road. Guys, I've been doing this 16 years, and I still get calls from policies that I sold 10, 11, 12, 13 years ago. Not as often, but every once in a while, one will just fall on my lap. And I'll have to dig into my archives, my Excel spreadsheet that I started back in 2003, do a name search, and bada boom, bada bing, there it is. Ah, there's Miss Smith. Okay. And then I'll read my notes, and it'll be just like yesterday. I'll remember exactly who that person was, what the house or the apartment or the mobile home looked like, the setting of the appointment, the details of the information that was shared with me. And it just really goes a long ways with these people, guys. It really does. So ultimately it just, it helps strengthen the relationship you already have with your clients. It definitely strengthens and improves the persistency, that these policies are not going to go anywhere because these people love you, they trust you, they like you. You're going to write more increased business, and you're going to get more referrals at the end of the day.